The following video is brought to you by the guys at the Wrecking and Racing Podcast, a NASCAR podcast made by the fans for the fans. Check them out at www.wreckingandracing.com, facebook.com/wreckingandracing, and Twitter at Wrecking and Racing. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Saki here, and welcome back to another episode of NASCAR Racing 2003 season. And we begin the round of 8 here at the short track, the paperclip of Martinsville. Kyle Busch on the pole looking for a really good run. We're on the inside of row 2, a pretty good spot. Green flag should be coming out soon. There we go, green flag. Let's give Kyle a little bit of a boost going into the first turn. And can we get under him here? Little bit sketchy on the bottom here. Let's see if we can get the good drive off and at least be beside him going into turn 3. And it looks like Kyle will roll out and give us that spot. And going for the lead here, nice and strong on the start. That's good. 49 laps to go, but fuel is good. We will not have to pit for fuel at all this race. So if, depending on how cautions fall and what our tire wear looks like, we may not even be pitting at all this race. But with this being the first round, if any one of the current top 8 win this race, they will automatically advance to the finale at Homestead. So of all races in the year that are the most important, probably besides your first win to get you in the playoffs in the first place, this one will set yourself apart. So we're going to get a good drive here. Looks like Kyle has dropped out of second, and it looks like Brandon has gotten himself into second place. Pretty decent starting spot for Brandon. We want to keep our nose clean here and just run some laps. Martinsville, something can happen very quickly, and the track can close up just as quickly. If there is a crash, really nowhere to go. So we need to sort of stay out front if we can, and if there is a crash, we'll have plenty of time to avoid it and possibly even take the yellow flag by the time we get around to it. Pushing up just a little bit there. We're running about the second groove. Still don't see any lap cars, but with this being a half-mile short track, we should be catching up to lap cars fairly quickly, especially if they have to run side by side. We can run pretty much... Oh, someone is blown up. All right, so some oil on the track. I do not see the car that's responsible for, but yeah, they are running the high line, and there we go. Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 33 with a blown engine, and that will bring out the caution here. So we'll come back around to take the yellow, and we'll lead some more laps here. Brandon should be starting right behind us, and there we go. Yellow flag is out. Now, it is way too early to pit. I don't think we've put really much wear on our tires, so we will not be pitting this time, so I will be back with you for the green. Pace car is off. We're rounding turn 4. No lap cars to our inside, so it does look like Jeffrey Earnhardt was the cause of the caution. No one else was involved. Back up to speed as well, as quickly back up to speed as we can before slowing down for the next hairpin. And Martinsville is a little bit wonky as far as caution flags are concerned. The pace car will always jump out of pit road when the yellow flag comes out and slam into the second pit wall, slowing itself down. And by the time the AI really get lined up, they're already multiple segments down because they just don't get close to the car in front of them. So when the green flag comes out and you're running at the tail end of the line, the leader's actually almost really right behind you, as you can see. We're working on these cars in front of us to work on putting them one lap down. And is that Boyer in front of us? Yes, it is Clint Boyer, who is shotgun on the field. So Boyer is not having a good round of 8. He didn't have really a good round of 16 as far as that's concerned, so Bowyer got himself into the playoffs and really did nothing with it. He was just filling up a spot. It'd be interesting to see what someone like Denny Hamlin could have done had Denny made it into the playoffs. But luckily the cars in front of us are single file, and it kind of looks like the lap cars are spacing themselves out a bit. We overdrove that turn just a touch. But no one really behind us as of now. Kyle Busch looks to have passed Brandon. Perhaps his car may be going away from him, or perhaps Kyle Busch is really coming around. Kyle Busch has led more laps this season than anyone without a win. So Kyle Busch is just knocking on the door, putting himself in good position, but unable to capitalize this year. And a win would put him in the championship 4 and put a lot of pressure on myself and Brandon to perform over the next 2 races after Martinsville, Texas, and Phoenix. So if one of us can get the win here, then that will put really strong pressure on guys like Kyle. And he is closing the gap. His nose is starting to peek down in there. He's putting a lot of pressure on us here. If we can get up to the 14 of Bowyer before the 18 of Busch gets to us, then we can force Busch to play follow the leader and work lap traffic. If we're all alone, and it looks like actually Busch is fighting alongside, is that Brad Keselowski. I tell you, so Busch is not, oh no, that's the 4 of Kevin Harvick. So Busch and Harvick having a battle. And as long as they're side by side, we can maintain our lead here and pull away. And I thought I would catch Bowyer a whole lot faster than I currently am, but there's the 51. So we can at least put the 51 a lap down. It does look like Harvick has completed that pass for second. And as long as we can get by the 51 and the 14 cleanly, if they bottleneck up Harvick, then more power to him. We should get under him here inside of turn 3. No, not really as close as I would have liked here on Timmy Hill, but we definitely will be able to get him here on the entrance of turn 1. Let's move to the left, get him on the outside, and if Harvick can't follow us through, hopefully Harvick has some issues. It does look like Harvick has the inside but falls back behind the 51. If the 51 gives him a rough time, thank you, Timmy Hill. Keep that 4 car behind us. And it does look like indeed the Harvick struggled just a touch, but he is around the 51. 14 is up next, so Stewart-Haas having, you know, a 50-50 day. They have a car contending for the lead and a car contending for last, which isn't indicative of the real-life Stewart-Haas. I don't know what's up with Clint Bowyer, if I am honest. Hopefully Clint Bowyer has a better run next season. Laps are ticking by very quickly though, and Harvick is still there in the mirror, looking to the inside as Kyle Busch did. Now, I don't think Harvick pitted. In fact, I know he didn't pit, so he's on the same cycle of tires as we are. So if he had to run a whole lot harder than we did to get around the lap traffic, that'll make him passing us really tough. And Bowyer shoving it in there under the 72. So it kind of looks like we're following Bowyer. Maybe Bowyer was a victim of poor qualifying, because it does look like he's completing passes. Unfortunately, we're not close enough to them to capitalize on Bowyer opening the door like that. Opening the doyer, if you will. But we should be able to get under the 72 going into turn 3. We'll be right on his back bumper here. Excuse me, Cole. Cole, you're wandering all over the track. Not really, but that's a Days of Thunder reference if you didn't get that. Yellow flag is back out. Obviously, I wasn't involved. Let's get back to the line and take the yellow. So, do we give up track position to take 4 tires? I like the way the car is feeling now, and it doesn't. Holy crap. Yeah, so someone was hard into the wall in turn 2. That's going to be some damaged race cars on the track. But I don't think I'm going to pit this time. And really, I'll look behind and see what Harvick is doing. But if he stays out, then I'll stay out. I'll watch in the mirror here and see if he looks to the left. Now it looks like Harvick's going to stay out, so will we, and I'll be back for the green. Coming back to green here, we have 2 cars that are a lap down on the inside. Hopefully they can stall Harvick a bit. We get a good jump up through 3rd, up to 4th gear, and away we go. If those lap cars give Harvick a bad time, we might use this time to stretch out as much a lead as we can. The windshield is getting pretty dirty, but we're not planning on pitting to get a tear-off ripped off, that is for sure. I think these cautions are going to help. For sure, the tire wear won't go down as much. We'll be able to keep our lap times consistent. Car might be starting to push a bit, but you know, if no one around us has new tires, then everyone else is struggling through the same pains we are. I don't think it would have made much sense with only 2 cars a lap down to pit. I don't believe anyone else did. I haven't seen 2K3 do like a split sort of strategy where, like, if the first 10 cars stay out, then everyone else comes down pit road from 11th on back to change tires and try to get, you know, good track position from that. You know, the AI seems pretty straightforward as far as when they decide to pit. Harvick is around those lap cars though, hunting us back down the front straightaway. Sliding the right rear tire just a bit on corner exit, but all in all, the car isn't bad, and compared to Harvick, which is really what we have to look to, we're not bad. If Harvick was knocking off our rear bumper and trying to make a pass, I'd be a little bit more worried, but seeing Harvick actually roll back there and not be as fast is pretty comforting that we've been taking care of our stuff. Lap cars are starting to come into the picture though, but not as closely as we were by the last time. Makes me wonder if Clint Boyer was able to really do something and get up there, because I don't see Clint on the tail end anymore. Or who knows, he may have been involved in that incident. We'll have to go back at the end of the race and see what happened with these incidents. And speaking of incident, yellow flag is back on the track after we've extended this massive lead from Harvick. He'll be right back on our rear bumper again. And yeah, looks like they're stopped up here in turn 1. That must have been a big one. So I'll let the AI sort their lives out and be right back with you on the next restart. Ow, Harvick! Look, just because you suck, man, don't mean that you have to go knocking in a right rear fender, for crying out loud. And there goes the pace car, and we'll see if Harvick pits. I still don't think these guys are going to pit. It's probably at the window that there's too few laps to go to really make the tires worth it, especially based on track position. We'll let the 41 go by. He kind of looks like Harvick there in the dark blue. And yeah, Harvick didn't pit, so I will be right back with you for the green. Coming down to what could be the final restart. Green flag is back in the air. We've got a good jump on Harvick and no one to our inside, which means we are under 10 laps to go. In fact, we are at 10 laps to go here at Martinsville, and we were able to stretch out just a bit over Harvick in the last green flag run, so hopefully we can replicate and do more of the same. Lap traffic shouldn't be an issue in these final closing laps. We just need to put an entire race together here and not give it away at the very end. It doesn't look like Harvick is going to be making a charge. He doesn't really look strong. Looking in the mirror, we almost have a half a straightaway on him, so at Martinsville, that's pretty huge. Good drive here. I still don't see any lap cars. The more we can keep away from everyone else, the better off we will be. A win here will put us in the championship 4, and that's a lot of stress off going into Texas and Phoenix. Texas I could run fairly decent at, but Phoenix I feel I'm always out to lunch every single year. So a win here or a really good points day would make me feel good. Wait, yellow flag is out. The race may end under yellow here. We're coming back to the caution. I see a slow car here. That is Michael McDowell. And he is rolling, which is good. He's not blocking the track any. And I believe this may be it. If we go back to green, we'll have just a few laps to go. Obviously, I'm not pitting at this point, and we'll see how the race finishes. I'll be right back with you. In NASCAR Racing 2003, there is no green-white checker finish, so we will end this race under yellow, leading all 50 laps. A pretty dominant Martinsville from us, helped out by a series of cautions. So let's see where our chase drivers, our round of 8 drivers, finish this time around, and take a look at what brought out some of those yellow flags. The first one was pretty close to the start, I believe. Let's go ahead and look at, let's see, do we have a good caution light view? There we go. Let's see, so lap 4, 5, there we go. So on lap 6, the caution came out, and I believe this was going to be for Jeffrey Earnhardt. We'll just fast forward until we see that caution light tick. There we go. And see what kind of mess we had. Yellow flag was out there, and I believe, wow, the one was something, no, McMurray was just avoiding the car in front of him here. Yeah, when the yellow flag came out, he just made a beeline to the right. So I believe it was the 33 of Jeffrey Earnhardt coming around the, oh, he was stopped. So just as we were passing Jeffrey Earnhardt, he ended up stopping on the racetrack, and that brought out the first caution. He was running in 38th anyway, so not a good day for the 33 car. All right, let's go ahead and head on to the next yellow flag here. Green, and where was our next yellow? This was the longest green flag run for sure, this middle segment here, and the yellow flag is out there right at the halfway mark. Let's see what we've got here as far as wrecks are concerned. There we go. Oh, Brandon is backwards here. What happened to Brandon? Looks like he spun for quite a way. Oh, the 9 of Chase Elliott gets into him there. So Brandon will go into the corner. Chase will tap him right there, and around he goes. Stands in the gas, tries to keep it off the wall, noses in just a bit, and loses that track position. And unfortunately, he couldn't get down to the bottom, so very wisely spins around and points to the outside. So I imagine he will pit for tires, and that may be what sets Brandon back just a skosh here. So Brandon being punted by the 9 was our next caution here. Let's see what our next yellow flag was. Green, and then there it was, one more yellow flag there. Let's take a look and see what kind of chaos we have on the track as of now. Oh, the 31 with heavy damage. What happened to Newman? He stuck down to the bottom. Oh, wow. So Newman was involved in a crash that happened way in front of him. Yep, there it was. The 51 got spun here. What happened to the 51 of Timmy Hill? So AJ Allmendinger was just laying into him. coming off of turn 4, and when he got spun, Newman must have hit him a ton. There was the hook and the bump, sliding right in the middle of traffic. Almirola gets into him, the 3 and the 31. Not a good crash for the Richard Childress Racing bunch, that is for sure. And Brandon sneaks by, avoiding all of those cars. Yeah, pretty big mayhem as far as that's concerned. The 51 is all used up. And let's get back around to where our final caution of the day was. Yeah, with 5 laps to go, caution came out again. Don't see anyone sideways or crashed. Okay. Curious. What brought out this caution here? Let's see when the actual yellow came out. I think it was right after we crossed the start-finish line, so it may have been cleared up in that lap. Yeah, just after we crossed the start-finish line, yellow flag was out there. So let's see if we have any sort of crash. Oh, the 32 of Matt DiBenedetto was fighting with the 38 and the 75. So DiBenedetto was looking 3 wide under the 75, turns him a bit. The 32 gets into the 38, into the wall, and that was the caution that won us the race, essentially. We never did take a look at the finishing order, so let me just do that for you. Go all the way to lap 50. And there the checkered flag was out, so we finished first. Kevin Harvick second. William Byron third with strong runs. They're all in the championship. Same as Kyle Busch. Brad is eliminated. Kyle Larson is still in. Chase Elliott was eliminated. Stenhouse with a 7th. Hamlin with a 32nd. 8th was Brendan Gaughan. Interestingly enough, Brendan Gaughan with an 8th place. 9th place, AJ Allmendinger. Top 10 for Eric Jones. Truex finishes 11th. He is in the chase. Who else is back here? Suarez finishes 12th. And I believe that is everyone in the round of 8. So let's take a look at the standings as they are now. Martin Truex Jr. is your cutoff driver. With my win, I have advanced to the championship for Brandon 26 to the good, but really tight. Byron only 2 out of the transfer spot. And Harvick and Larson pretty close, 11 and 12 points back. Kyle Busch and Suarez, though, almost in a must-win situation if they want to advance to Homestead. But that's going to do it for me. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you for race 2 of the round of 8 at Texas. Take care.